Duke. A No. 2 seed beat No. 7 seed Rhode Island on Saturday, 87-62, in the NCAA tournament round of 32, squashing any talk that there would be an upset. Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski said from start to finish, his team played one of its best games. The Blue Devils, 28-7, are currently clicking on the offensive and defensive end, and will return to the Sweet 16. Here are 5 takeaways from Duke's game. 1. Duke appears to be playing its best basketball right now. Never miss a local story. Sign up today for a free 30-day free trial of unlimited digital access. Subscribe now. Through the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament, Duke has won by an average of 23.5 points. The Blue Devils have played well offensively and defensively, and when it got a lead at both games against Iona and Rhode Island, Duke kept working hard. At times this season, Duke has had a tendency to start games slow and eventually work its way back. It happened as recently as the ACC tournament when Duke lost to North Carolina in the semifinals on March 9th. But that didn't happen in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament for Duke, and as a result, it is headed to the Sweet 16. Duke guard Gary Trent Jr. 2. goes in to score in the first half over the Rhode Island defense. Chuck Liddy at NewsObserver.com. 2. Sharing is caring. Duke moved the ball around well against Rhode Island, when Duke freshman forward Marvin Bagley III, who's 6'11" and 234 pounds, was covered early in the game. The Blue Devils found other open players for easy threes. Wendell Carter Jr., who's 6'10" and 259 pounds, dominated in the first few minutes, as Rhode Island couldn't handle Duke's height. When Rhode Island tried to stop Duke in the post, the Blue Devils just kicked the ball outside. Everybody was on, so I wasn't really focused on getting my shot, Bagley said. Everybody was on, clicking on all cylinders, and was scoring in different positions. And as long as it says 2 points with Duke going forward, that's all that matters. That's all that I was worried about. Quote, Duke's 5 starters scored in double digits. Bagley had 22. Freshman guard Gary Trent Jr. had 18. Carter had 13. Freshman guard Trevin Duval had 11 and senior guard Grayson Allen had 10. Duke guard Grayson Allen, 3, looks to feed teammate Marvin Bagley 3.35 under the basket. Chuck Liddy at NewsObserver.com. Coach prepared us well throughout the whole week, Trent said. He told us to focus and play hard, play together, and that is what we did tonight, and that was the biggest thing for us. Quote, share copy link. Duke's Marvin Bagley LLL tells reporters that he's quickly learned that any game can be your last in his first NCAA tournament. NCAA video. 3. The three-point shot is very important for Duke. The inside game is almost always going to be on. That's what happens when you have 2 of the best offensive big men in the country. But when the outside shot is falling too, Duke is even more dangerous. Allen and Trent can get hot at any time. They combined to go 7 for 13 from behind the three-point line. Even Duval is getting into the action. He is 5 for 9 from behind the arc in Duke's 2 NCAA tournament games so far. Duval was a 27% three-point shooter coming into the game. He has had the green light to shoot in the last 2 games. Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski gestures to a Blue Devil player after a score in the second half. Chuck Liddy at NewsObserver.com. 4. Duke is focused. No. 1. Virginia lost to UMBC, a 16 seed, on Friday night. It was the first time a 16 seed has beaten a 1 seed in the tournament's history, and the Blue Devils were watching. An upset could have happened to Duke against Rhode Island had the Blue Devils not brought their A game. Rhode Island has 5 seniors, all with NCAA tournament experience, who know how to win. But Duke's players knew the stakes. They knew what could happen and brought it on Saturday. Duke led the game for 33 minutes. Rhode Island led for 6 minutes and the game was tied for 1 minute. We just tried to keep it on them, Allen said. Keep that lead the whole game. Our focus has been really good. None of the guys have been talking about future matchups or past matchups. Quote, we were focused on Iona, and we were focused on Rhode Island. Quote, Duke guard Grayson Allen, 3, directs the defense in the second half against Rhode Island. Chuck Liddy at News Observer. Com. 5. Duke is trying to cut back on turnovers. Turnovers were starting to be a problem early in the game, something Krzyzewski attributed to nerves. Duke turned the ball over 4 times in the first 5 minutes of the game. Eventually the players took better care of the basketball and found opportunities to score. Duke is at its worst when it turns the ball over too many times. It turned the ball over 14 times on Saturday against Rhode Island, which is still too much.